or project strong, effective, charismatic leaders. Quite like Hamlet in a Shakespearean drama, of elevating Tharoor as a possible Kerala chief minister.
Views expressed in this blog are hosted on my own website, are strictly personal, and do not reflect the views of any organization.
Namaskar, hello and welcome once again to Straight Bat, my weekly video blog where, as the title suggests, I comment with a straight bat. Now, today's title of the Straight Bat should tell you what you're going to get an insight into. Shashi Tharoor ka ab kya hoga? What's going to happen to the one and only Shashi Tharoor? Now, think of Mr. Tharoor at the moment quite like Hamlet in a Shakespearean drama. Come to think of it, he might make a rather debonair and dashing Hamlet. To be or not to be might be Shashi Tharoor's quintessential dilemma. Should he or should he not be in politics? That's right, folks. 16 years after he moved away from the rather rarefied environment of the United Nations to the hurly-burly of electoral politics, Dr. Tharoor finds himself a bit trapped. He is a four-time MP from Thiruvananthapuram, is a Sahitya Akademi Award winner, has penned best-selling books, is also much sought after on the lecture circuit, but seems to feel unwanted by his Congress party leadership. In a recent Malayalam language podcast for the Indian Express, Tharoor stirred the pot when he said, "If the Congress party doesn't need my services, I have many options." His options to active politics, he said, included book writing, lectures, and much more. But the instant reaction was to presume that another Congress leader was preparing to fly the coop and switch sides when, well, all he's arguably doing at the moment is trying to make a persuasive case for himself as a potential party nominee for Kerala Chief Minister. Remember, elections are in Kerala next year. Now, in recent years, the list of high-profile Congress functionaries exiting the grand old party is a rather lengthy one. A majority of them have left to join the BJP-led ruling alliance, a clear sign that the scent of power remains the ultimate magnet in politics. A few of them, like Jyotiraditya Scindia, Jitin Prasad, Milind Deora, for example, had very privileged access to the Congress's first family, the Gandhis, and yet they chose to part ways. Then we have other senior leaders like Hemanta Biswa Sarma and Captain Amrinder Singh, who left after they found themselves on the wrong side of the typical internal power politics and intrigue in the Congress. Less known are the instances of numerous anonymous party workers who have abandoned what they consider now to be a sinking ship without a strong captain at the wheel. In all this, Tharoor's case is a bit different. At the outset, let's be honest, he doesn't fit into the stereotypical Congress Neta mold. Far from being seen as an entitled dynast, a family friend of the Gandhis, or someone who has wormed his way up the Congress ladder, the suave and articulate former United Nations diplomat turned MP represents a rather dying breed in Indian politics, a self-made meritorious individual whose career path combines the best of scholarship, hard work, and a fair bit of skill. When Tharoor first made the switch in 2009 from the UN bureaucracy to electoral politics, there were the usual sniggers, a belief that he was just another ambitious lateral entrant who would fall flat soon enough. His Stephanian accent, unique vocabulary, personal life and loves were all seen to be unsuited to India's more conservative political milieu. No less than Prime Minister Modi had a rather unkind and, to my mind, wholly unwarranted jab at him when he derisively referred to Tharoor's late wife Sunanda as a 50 crore girlfriend. And yet, through all the storms in his private and political life, Shashi Tharoor has stuck it out as a four-time elected MP from Thiruvananthapuram, which is no mean feat, given the fact that this is a seat where the left has a solid base and where the BJP has attempted to grow. He may have at times punched above his weight, most notably when he suddenly threw his hat in the ring to try and become Congress president in 2022. But few can deny that he is one of the few English-speaking outsiders who has succeeded despite not being part of an entrenched party system. As I detail in my book 2024, The Election That Surprised India, Tharoor's bid for Congress presidency was fought on a completely non-level playing field. Congress delegates were warned in some instances by party officials to stay far away from his campaign. That he still got over 1,000 votes in the contest suggests that his appeal within the party ranks is a little greater than many might have thought. In 2019, Tharoor aspired to be the Congress leader in the Lok Sabha, but that post went straight away to Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, a combative politician, but somebody who is hardly an effective parliamentary speaker. Tharoor was bluntly told at the time that since Chaudhary was a 5-time MP, he was being preferred. In fact, I can tell you this, in the last year, matters seem to have reached a stage where Tharoor isn't even a main speaker for the Congress in Parliament on key issues. It's almost as if he's paying the price for challenging Mallikarjun Kharge in 2022. Now, part of Tharoor's problem is that he can't be slotted easily into any Congress camp. He's a public intellectual at one level who's perhaps far more comfortable in a literature festival than he is in the cabals and the coteries of Congress politics. Even when his name was propped up as part of the G23, the grouping that was reportedly pushing for change in the Congress, it wasn't quite so easy to see him spearheading some kind of a rebellion or coup in the Congress. Critics of Tharoor in the party tell me that Tharoor is not a team man, that he doesn't really have the time for the nitty-gritty of organizational work at the grassroots. Remember, he was founder president of the All India Professional Congress, but the body didn't quite take off. At the moment, he is confined to being a CWC member, which at the moment is not really something special because the Congress Working Committee is now a very large, oversized body. Maybe Tharoor's individualistic style has meant that every time he supports a Modi government idea, be it on the economy or Swachh Bharat or foreign policy, he is instantly viewed by suspicion by those within the Congress who claim to be waging a no-holds-barred war against the Modi BJP RSS machine and wonder whether Tharoor is looking to switch sides. In fact, so deep are the anxieties and insecurities within this closed-door political system that there is an ever-shrinking space, my friends, for anyone who wishes to express even a mildly contrarian opinion. But a genuinely democratic party should never ossify into an echo chamber of sycophants. Sadly, that's the case with most of our political parties which have little or no inner party democracy, and which is why the likes of Tharoor become a soft target for their critics within the Congress. Paradoxically, it is Tharoor's attempt to rise above this hyperpolarization of a deeply divided polity that actually makes him so attractive for the voter, if not for his own party. If the Congress today, my friends, has lost a large chunk of the urban middle class and youth vote in particular, it is because the party has got boxed into a narrow ideological construct where it finds it increasingly difficult to appeal to a large fence-sitting populace who have no strong political loyalties. This group of voters is looking for a positive alternative for change, one revolving around a broad-based agenda of inclusivity, of growth, not an opposition which is simply driven by routine negativism. कि जो भी मोदी सरकार करती है वो गलत है, we must oppose them all the time. Let's be clear. As an avowed Nehruvian secularist who has repeatedly challenged the BJP's idea of Hindutva while also espousing a liberal outlook on economic issues, Shashi Tharoor's arguments, in my mind, offer an important ideological counterpoint to divisive saffronized politics, as indeed he does to the left's rather sterile Stalinism. Which is also why Shashi Tharoor, according to some, might just be the right person to be projected as a Congress face in Kerala, a state where winning the floating vote outside the vocal cadre-based interests is crucial to electoral success. Kerala, in fact, is arguably the only state where the Congress might have a genuine shot at victory on its own in the next 2-year cycle of state elections. But as has been the case in so many other states, the Congress's capacity to score self-goals should not be underestimated. And having several chief ministerial candidates in a deeply factionalized state unit is a recipe for potential disaster. One of those candidates and a key figure in this Tharoor drama is K.C. Venugopal, the Congress's all-powerful organizational secretary and Rahul Gandhi's key confidant and shadow. Someone who, if the political grapevine is to be believed, sees Shashi Tharoor as a threat to his own ambitions to becoming Kerala Chief Minister. The Tharoor camp is claiming that a recent survey in Kerala, their leader was reportedly the preferred choice of 48% voters. The next highest was V. Satishan, leader of the opposition in the Kerala Assembly, with around 17%. And the other contenders, including Ramesh Chennithala and Venugopal himself, were in single digits. Now, Chennithala's supporters, interestingly, are claiming that this poll is entirely bogus. It is sponsored by Tharoor supporters in the corporate world who are batting for him, including one person who is anathema for the Congress. This is what Chennithala's camp claims. His rivals, in fact, in Kerala have been spreading a word that Tharoor is an Adani man who cannot be trusted by the Congress leadership. Interestingly though, Tharoor reportedly now has the support of a key Congress ally in Kerala as well, the All India Muslim League. Which brings me back to the original question. If Tharoor is or is certainly one of the most popular choices for a Congress Kerala Chief Minister, why won't the party leadership even consider his case? This is where the buck stops with Rahul Gandhi and the ball is squarely in his court. Let's be clear, all major decisions in the Congress are still taken by Mr. Gandhi. Now, Rahul Gandhi, we are led to believe, doesn't like leaders who wear their ambition on their sleeves. He prefers those who stand and wait. Remember what he said once? Power is poison. The question is though, wait for what? In state after state, the Congress leadership has been either unable or unwilling to manage factional wars or project strong, effective, charismatic leaders. In the two states where they managed to do so, Karnataka and Telangana, the party was rewarded. The joke in political circles is that nothing succeeds in the Congress as much as failure, because a failed leader is a threat to no one. In the circumstances, the question is the Congress leadership really ready to break with the status quo and take the risk of elevating Tharoor as a possible Kerala Chief Minister? Or does the party for now want to keep the issue simmering because it simply wants to play safe and see which way the ground moves? Remember, in the Congress party famously, sometimes not taking a decision is seen as the wisest decision. Where that leaves good old Shashi Tharoor, we don't know. As I said, to be or not to be is the dilemma facing the one and only Shashi Tharoor. I don't know if my Tharoor impression worked there or not, but as a postscript, let me say, at a recent dinner, a friend asked me why I had never thought of entering politics. I referred to the case of Dr. Tharoor and chuckled. I guess some of us are better off as talking heads in a TV studio and writing books on politics than actually participating in the game. It is another matter that Tharoor and I went to the same school in South Mumbai. A truly cosmopolitan education, my friends, may no longer be an asset in public life. English-speaking politicians of the Tharoor variety are, dare I say, an endangered species. That was the Straight Bat. Do of course subscribe to my YouTube channel for many more such videos. For now, stay well, stay safe. Jai Hind. Namaskar.